Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Security Guard Command. Real quick video here. I'm on my way into work. I got a few minutes. Wanted to talk about something. The trending topic right now among security on YouTube is one of the topics is unionizing, joining together, uniting together for the greater good and the common good. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about is related to this. It's more of a help to that topic, and this is talking about reports, incident reports, daily activity reports, DARs. Guys, for every incident that happens, no matter how small you think it might be, make a brief note of it at the very least. If you have to go hands-on or use force, or if you're threatened in any way, make a report. Remember to include the who, what, when, where, how, and why. As many details as you possibly can put in there. Because those reports are going to be valuable when it comes time to negotiate for things like hazard pay or hazard, increases in your pay, raising your pay rates when you're negotiating your contract for a union. You've heard the saying before, if it wasn't written down, it didn't happen. And that is true. At that point, it becomes a hearsay, and there's nothing you can do to prove it. So be absolutely sure to write your reports. Oh, woman drove off the road into a ditch. PD's on scene. Sorry, I lost my train of thought with that one. Guys, be sure to be diligent in writing your reports and your daily activity reports, especially if your company requires you to do so. I know a lot of people tend to slack on that, or they put minimal effort into it. But if you are going to be unionizing, or if you want to in the future, those reports are going to be valuable. So make sure that you provide details, especially with situations that are potentially dangerous for you as the security officer. Write your reports and keep a copy of your own reports for your own records. Avoid writing these reports on your phone. I would recommend that you write them in a notebook or even on Google Docs. If you want to type it, use Google Docs, but do not store them on your personal devices. The reason for that is that if you do have some sort of a investigation into something, your personal property that the reports are kept on could be taken as evidence. So unless you want to lose your phone for a while, and they will go through your entire phone looking for any evidence. So unless you got something on your phone, if you got something on your phone you don't want them to see, don't write your reports on there. Don't use your phone for personal phone for pictures, or if you do, I don't recommend it. I know a lot of us do use our personals, but avoid using your personal equipment for that sort of thing. Anyway, that's just what I wanted to throw out there, guys. Work on those reports. If you have any sort of incident, write it down in a notebook, time, date, who, what, when, where, why, how, all of the W's, so that you have all those details. It's also good to keep record of that, because you never know when an incident can come back to haunt you. It could be a couple months down the road and a law enforcement officer shows up at your post asking you questions about something that happened 2 months ago. And all of a sudden that person's trying to press charges against you. It's not good when you say, well, I don't remember anything. It was 2 months ago. You pull out your notebook and say, here's the details. And offer to give them a photocopy of that. They might want to take the whole notebook, but I would recommend that you offer to give them a photocopy of the report that you wrote in your notebook. It's just to cover yourself. I've had a situation where I was working at a cannabis dispensary in California, and I had a weird incident happen where a guy pulled into the parking lot. He got out and he just started filming and taking pictures of the exterior of the building. So not necessarily anything totally wrong with it. He was on private property, but it wasn't something that I felt was worth escalating the situation and potentially turning it into something violent. So I just stood out there, made my presence known. It did make him a little bit uncomfortable. He finished up and took off. I wrote down the license plate, and the description of the guy, the description of the vehicle, and the time that it happened. And that was it. The guy left, and no further incidents from that person for the rest of the day, the rest of the week. It's about a week later. I come into work. It's they open at 8. I come in at 7:30, and all of the managers are huddled around the video, the surveillance system, looking at the screen, and they're reviewing footage. So I go, "Oh, something happened?" And they go, "Yeah, last night." And I go, "Oh, well, what is it?" And they go, "Here, take a look at this." And they showed me a car pull up to the outside of the gate. The gate was closed and locked, and the guy climbed over the fence, came into the property, and vandalized it. And so I looked at him and I said, "Hold on a minute, that guy looks a little familiar." So I pulled out my notebook and I went back to a week earlier and I looked at my notes and I said, "Hey, move the cameras to this time and date. Take a look at this." Sure enough, same vehicle, same person. Now, not only did we have a good video of a person in daylight on camera with a much clearer picture of the person, I had the license plate and description of everything else from a week prior in my notebook. So we were able to get the license plate. Now we have a positive ID on this guy. Whereas if I hadn't taken my notes, forget about trying to ID this guy unless he comes back a third time. So just a good example of why it's a good idea to keep notes of any incident that happens, even if it seems insignificant, because you never know when it could become more significant. And especially if you guys are trying to form a union, all of those examples of incidents that happen are going to be extremely valuable in negotiating a higher pay rate, or even like a hazard differential, or anything of that kind. So I just want to leave you guys with that. Encourage you, keep notes, keep a notebook in your shirt pocket, and anything that happens, just write down a brief description of what happened with time and date, any details you can include. Don't get too involved into it. If you're on post, you want to be able to still pay attention to your surroundings, but it's definitely important to get those notes. If you're going to do Google Docs and write it on Google Docs, by all means use the voice recorder on your phone and do voice typing so that you can type it into the document. Just be sure that you put the time and date in at the time you added that to your list. As always, guys, please stay safe, watch your six, and I will catch you later.